you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. The Eye Test with Pierre, McGuire, and Jimmy Murphy.
The Stanley Cup winning Colorado Avalanche. And after 22 years, Raymond Moore
The sickest NHL podcast. It's gonna be sick.
And welcome to another edition of the Eye Test here in the Sick Podcast Network. I'm Jimmy Murphy. That's Pierre McGuire. And I am live, Pierre, in the beautiful brand new studios up here in Montreal for the Sick Podcast Network. And I can't wait to have you in here with me sometime soon, Pierre.
Yeah, I was supposed to be in there with you today.
Yeah. Rough travel day for Pierre McGuire, folks.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll get there on Wednesday.
Yep. We will be meeting at Lake Placid.
Better safe than sorry. I'll see you in Lake Placid at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Wednesday.
All right. That sounds good. And of course, a reminder, we will be down. Well, I will be down at Hurley's Irish Pub on Crescent Street, 1225 Crescent Street in Montreal tomorrow, 4 to 6 p.m. Tee up for the Bruins Habs, which, you know, Pierre, as we were discussing earlier, right now is a huge, huge game. I think, you know, if we were to talk about this back in October when the season started, Pierre, I don't think a lot of people, including myself, had this being the playoff type game that it is. This is huge for both teams.
Yeah, no, all these games are down the stretch. You see the fool's gold games, like you see Toronto winning, you see the Rangers winning. You know, I talked to an NHL executive today. It's like he said to me, he goes, I heard you on the radio say the fool's gold games. Those are fool's gold games. All these teams think they're better than they are because the other teams aren't gearing up for them because they know they're out of the playoffs. But Montreal-Boston's a big game. You know, Ottawa's got some huge games coming up. Ottawa's got the back-to-back with Washington and the Islanders. Then they're home against Toronto. Then they're at Rangers and Detroit back-to-back. Then they're home against Pittsburgh. I mean, I'm just telling you, Ottawa's the team of all of them, and I know Columbus is in there too. But of all the teams that Montreal should be concerned with right now, I'm just telling you, is Ottawa.
Yeah, and as we were talking to each other earlier today, Pierre, and we were talking about Ottawa right now, and I mentioned to you, I think Thomas Chabot right now deserves a lot of credit for the way he stepped up in Jake Sanderson's absence. He
had to. We talked about that. The guy that has to step up more than anybody else, it's not Brady, it's not Stützle, it's not Batherson. It's Tommy. Tommy's going to have to play more minutes. Tyler Cleven's going to have to play more minutes. The guy that's really elevated besides Chabot on the right side has been Jordan Spence. Jordan Spence has been outstanding for them. Defensively, offensively, he deserves a lot of credit. His agent, Peter McTavish, worked really hard to get him to Ottawa. He got him to Ottawa because he knew that Ottawa needed right defensemen. Spence has gotten there and really fit in well. He's done a good job with that team.
And you made a good point, too. I want to get to Montreal in a second, but just while we're on Ottawa, Pierre, before we leave that, you made a good point to me on the phone today, too, talking about the defensive structure that this team is playing with now. You know, in the past, you kind of think of Ottawa, it was more offense, but they're playing real playoff structure hockey right now, Pierre.
They're no fun to play against. They deserve a whack of credit. Travis Green and his staff, Nolan Baumgartner, Mike Yeo, Daniel Alfredson, those guys all deserve a lot of credit. Because when you watch them play, they're playing a playoff style of hockey. They don't give up a lot of second chances. They really frustrate you in the neutral zone. You don't get a lot of odd man opportunities. And if you do, it's because they mishandle the puck more times than not. It's not because guys aren't doing their jobs defensively. Their penalty killing is probably the most improved in the league. At the start of the year, it was what was killing them. Now they've become an aggressive penalty kill team. They're a good team. Ottawa is a good team. They're a good team.
On that note, Pierre, let's get back to Montreal. And another thing you were pointing out on Tony's show last night and then to me on the phone today is the Canadiens are starting to cheat a bit for offense, as you put it. And if they're going to be playing teams like that, competing against a team like Ottawa or any other team that's playing real solid defense, they're going to get burned.
Every team has to have this little session where everybody comes together and they say, okay, here's what we're doing right. Here's what we're doing wrong. And this is how we're going to fix what we're doing wrong. They're at that point now. Mm-hmm. You know, if they didn't realize it after the San Jose game and what Celebrini did to them, they realize it after what Cutter Gauthier and Leo Carlsson did to them last night.
Yep.
And so one of the problems with this group right now is you got a lot of the higher end guys. It's not that, look, it's normal. This is not an indictment of the team, the coaches, or the players. This is normal stuff that happens. For this team, it's happening at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Guys are looking at their points, and they're not looking at the team number. Mm-hmm. They need to look at the team number of points. It happens everywhere, Jimmy. Everywhere. Edmonton, Colorado, Dallas, Montreal, Toronto. It happens everywhere, Jimmy. People don't want to talk about it. It happens everywhere.
Yeah.
It's happening to Montreal right now. And last night, if you don't believe me, go watch the tape of all the goals that Anaheim scored. Mm-hmm. But in particular, Go watch the game-winning goal by Cutter Gauthier, and you tell me if those guys are playing defense in their own zone or trying to get up the ice to play offense. You tell me.
I know exactly what you. Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right, Pierre. And as you said, the time everybody goes through these ups and downs, but the timing of this right now couldn't have come at a worse time for the Canadiens. So we'll see what happens.
Bad. So here's the one thing with Montreal. That game that you correctly talk about tomorrow, and it breaks my heart that I can't be there with you. You know,
I
want to be transparent. I was at the airport at 5:00 this morning. I was supposed to fly out. My flight was delayed. Then it was delayed. Then it was delayed. Then it was canceled. Then it was back on. And they couldn't guarantee me flying through Atlanta that I'd make it to Montreal. And so because of that, I just got on the sure thing, which is on Wednesday. So that's why I'm not going to be there tomorrow. But that game tomorrow with Boston is huge. But then the next game at Detroit, those two games are either going to sink or it's going to elevate this team beyond belief.
Yeah.
And that's what they need to focus right now on, how they're going to fix what they've been doing wrong when they play Boston and Detroit.
Here, I want to ask you too quickly. Tell me I'm crazy, but do you sense sometimes when, you know, you're in this stretch run right now and you got these big division games coming up and you've got a set of games against Western Conference teams, is there maybe a lack of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like just getting up for those games as compared to what's ahead of them? And I'm not trying to make excuses for Montreal, but do you think that plays a factor for teams at times?
It might, but it shouldn't in this case because Montreal was just out west and they lost in San Jose and they lost in Anaheim. Yep. And they know how good Celebrini is and they know how good Will Smith is. And now they know how good Cutter Gauthier is and they know how good Leo Carlson is. And that was an Anaheim team that didn't have Radko Gudas. But unfortunately for them, they got John Carlson in the lineup in his first game. So, you know, and Dostal made some key saves at the right time. I thought Fowler played really well for Montreal.
I did too.
He was really solid for Montreal. But, you know, you make the point about the Western teams. 2 points against San Jose is as good as 2 points against Detroit. 2 points against Anaheim is just as good as 2 points against the New Jersey Devils. And they better hope, I'm talking about Montreal now, that they get a little help from New Jersey tonight because Boston's in New Jersey tonight.
That good point by you. I was just going to go to that. So they are getting Boston on the tail end of a back-to-back there. And, you know, if New Jersey can do them a little favor and strip 2 points away from them there, they don't go into this game tied. So we'll see what happens with that. Pierre, looking ahead to that game, though, tomorrow night, Bruins Canadiens, always a fun atmosphere. Obviously, it's the greatest rivalry. But if you look back at some of the games they've played this year, has there been a common thread to you at all between them? Or?
Hard to say because regular season, you got guys hurt, you got guys focused on Olympics, I don't really do that in those kinds of things. A lot of rivalry series, it's just the energy and the emotion takes over the game. Some people might, say you're completely wrong. There always is a rhyme and reason. In this case, it's just a rivalry. Both teams get up. Some guys make mistakes. Some guys thrive in that kind of environment. You just never know. You don't know. All
right, I want to switch gears, Pierre. I don't know if you've had a hectic day. I'm not sure if you heard about McDavid's comments regarding suspensions and all that.
I'm aware, yeah.
So for our viewers and listeners who haven't heard yet, we're going to play his quote right now, and then I want to get your take on it.
They have to look out for the star players in the wake of Matthews. You need Udis hitting Matthews. Yeah, I think the player safety has done their best. It's not an easy thing to do. With that being said, I think that there is reason to take a look at how the whole process works. If every time there's a suspension, everybody complains about it. Well, why don't we take a look at the process and figure out if there's a better way to make sure that both parties are happy, because it seems like there's a lot of frustration there.
Many interests around as well, the owners, the GMs. They're in it too. You can't suspend our player for too much, so they've got.
I can't speak to that. I'm not an owner. I'm not a GM. I'm a player, and I can say that from the player perspective, I think every time there is a suspension, most times there's a suspension, there is a lot of frustration from the player side. So why don't we take a look at the process and figure out a way that works for everybody?
All right, Pierre. So when you heard this at first, what was your instant reaction to that?
Good for him.
I love it.
Good for him.
Yep.
And that was done well. I'm not an owner. I'm not a GM. I'm a player.
Yep.
He hasn't been in those boardrooms. He doesn't know what goes on at the board of governors. Good for him.
Yeah.
He's not making stuff up. And I really respect him for doing that. I think that's fantastic. So there are a few things here. So Malkin gets 5 games. He's coming back tonight to play in Colorado. You look at, Gudas, he takes a guy out, a star player out. He doesn't just – he takes a guy out. Like, the guy's done for the year. Who knows what happens with his MCL? I don't know. Can you guarantee me what happened? I don't know.
No.
So what's his suspension?
I was stunned, Pierre, when it was just a phone call. I really was. And look, I respect Gudas. I think he's a good player. I want players like that on my team that can walk the line and intimidate. But we all agree that was way over the line, and it was clear intent to me.
So the hit on Crosby at the Olympics, and even to Sid's credit, Sid said that wasn't a cheap shot. And I said it at the time I was doing hits for NBC, and I didn't think it was a cheap shot. This one, I'm watching the game and I'm going, oh my gosh, like that's savage, man. That's not even close to being a legal hit.
Yep.
And so, I would have thought it would have been an in-person hearing and it wasn't going to be pretty, but that's not the way it goes. I heard somebody say that, well, we need to protect the star players. No. We need to protect every player.
Exactly.
Anybody that plays in the NHL is a star.
Yep.
You know how hard it is to put on an NHL sweater and play one game in the league, let alone make a career in the league? Every one of those guys should be respected and dealt with the same way as Connor McDavid should be the same as what Patrice Bergeron would be, or what Zdeno Chara would be, or what Cole Caulfield would be. Every guy. If you're Phil Deneau, you should be treated the same as what Taylor Hall is. There should be no shifting scale of, well, this guy's more of a star and he gets more points, so we're going to protect him more than the other guy. That's not right. That's not right at all.
One thing I've always had an issue with too, Pierre, when it comes to the players, and I get why they do it. I get the union has to do this, but is when players, get behind appealing a suspension. If they're so concerned about each other's safety, why are you trying to reduce a suspension for a guy who violated a player's safety? Like,
I've had to go and testify in those I've had to go do those hearings. I had a couple players that were in those, and you back in the day, you would, wherever your team was, you would fly with the player to New York. And yeah, and you would be in the hearing room, and it was a process and a half. And I can tell you right now, more times than not, and this is not a knock on the PA, I totally get it, but they're always going to defend the guy that did the damage, and not one of their union members that got smoked.
Yeah.
It's a really tough conundrum to deal with. It's really different. Conundrum. No, Jimmy, I've been in them. Marty Walsh wasn't there at the time. It was different people. So Marty and his group, like Ronnie Hainsey was still playing. Ronnie wasn't even playing yet. But I'm just saying, so I'm going to give these guys a break because I haven't been in any meetings or hearings with those guys. But back in the day, it was the guy that got crushed that never got supported by the union. It was the guy that did the crushing that, oh my gosh, he's innocent. He didn't do anything wrong. Meanwhile, the other guys are like, almost dead. So it's a conundrum. It's a hard one to fix, but I respect Connor for having the courage to speak out like that.
It is great that, the best player in the league is speaking out like that. I don't think we see that enough sometimes in hockey. So it's good that he's doing that. Pierre, before you mentioned the Fool's Gold games, we don't rehearse this at all. We never rehearse. Yep. But I did want to ask you about the Rangers, who since the team basically got blown up, have been playing great hockey, and specifically one of the players that's really elevated his level is Lafreniere. He just got Player of the Week. What do you think that is? Is there a connection there? Is it less pressure? What do you think's going on there?
Just having fun, going to the rink, playing for a job.
It's
just going to the rink, making a lot of money, having fun, no pressure.
Yeah. That's simple.
It's so typical. And it's not on him. This is for every team
in general.
Yes, this is not a discussion about Lafreniere. This is a discussion about the fool's gold element of this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
This happens every year.
Yeah.
And people overestimate the value of their players because of this. And this is when the biggest mistakes happen. So meanwhile, there's 17 great games played at the end of the year. What happened in the first 50?
Exactly.
Like, don't tell me just flip the switch.
Right? It's really
you know what? There should be these analytic guys. They should do something on that. Like, come up with an equation. If you're really good in your analytic stuff, like come up with a solution to this, because this is something where numbers would tell the story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really interesting.
I'm just telling you, it's been going on for eons, and people make big mistakes with their rosters because of it.
And of course, he was constantly mentioned throughout the season, and even going back to last year at the draft, through the offseason, into the season. Lafreniere was a subject to trade rumors. Now the deadline passes, and all of a sudden he's playing like he is. I don't know. It'd be interesting if we can somehow draw the connection. I don't know what it is, but you're right. It happens every year with players.
It's not Rangers. Look at Toronto. Toronto's no Austin Matthews. They're just winning now.
Yeah. And they gave Buffalo a hell of a game the other night, and I thought Buffalo was going to blow them out of the building.
Going to mini. No problem. We can hang with all the big dogs. No problem. We couldn't the whole year, but now you can.
Yeah.
Now you can. So
interesting. Pierre, the GM meetings are going on right now, and I know you've worked in team management before. What at this point of year after the trade deadline passes, what's it like? What's it like inside those meetings? What goes on down there?
Talk about getting ready for the playoffs, talk about rules, talk about different things, setting up for the Board of Governors, competition committee, things they like, things they don't like. There's an agenda presented, usually by Colin Campbell. I don't know if Coley still does that or not. Might be, Chris King. I don't know. Somebody presents an agenda from the league. They'll show tape. I think one of the things they'll probably talk about is goalie interference.
Yep.
What is, what isn't. So there are different things that they'll talk about. I'm sure they won't ever say this publicly. I'm sure they'll talk about quote unquote soft tampering versus hard tampering.
Mm-hmm. Who was it that said that?
That's the best. Oh, there was soft tamper. What's the difference?
I remember when that happened. You texted me like, what the heck does this mean?
Remember when that was said?
Yeah. You text me right away. You're like, what the hell are they talking about?
Like, what?
Tampering's tampering.
Yeah, there's no such animal, and it's like, and I think I said it too, and I wasn't trying to be colorful or witty, but I remember at the time I said, either are pregnant or you aren't. Like there's no there's no in between.
Yeah.
So
I wonder too, getting back to what we were talking about with McDavid there, the timing of that he says that right as they're down there, if that gets onto the agenda, if it wasn't already.
Oh, I think a lot of that's going to be on the agenda. I think a lot of the stuff they are going to talk about is going to be pertaining to the playoffs too, and how games are going to be called. Nobody ever wants to admit it, but the rules change in the playoffs.
Oh yeah.
I watched the college game yesterday, Cornell and Harvard, and I can tell you right now that was a game 3 in a 2-out-of-3 series at Liner Rink, and half the things I saw in that game, which was fine, they let them play, which is good. That was good.
Yeah.
But earlier in the year, that would have been a penalty fest.
Oh yeah.
Like all the games I watched, that would have been a steady stream of guys going to the penalty box if they let them play. And it's the same thing in the NHL. It's just it's just what people expect.
Good segue there, my friend. Speaking of the ECAC, the Final Four is set for the men's championships in Lake Placid. And of course, as we said earlier, Pierre and I will be there. We'll be touching down on Wednesday. We once again will be at Lake Placid Brewery. Just before we got on here, we're just doing Thursday and Friday, but I'm going to get us in there on Wednesday as well. So we will be there Wednesday, Thursday in our regular time slot, 4 to 5, Pierre. And I was talking to Chris Maynard, because you've got your announcing duties on Friday for the 2 games. We'll do noon to 1 like we did for the deadline show. give you enough time to get it down to the rink and get set up. And, of course, the teams that will be there, for those that don't know, Dartmouth and Clarkson and Cornell and Princeton. Dartmouth Clarkson will kick things off at 4 p.m., and Cornell and Princeton will play at 7 p.m. Pierre, exciting tournament so far. What are you expecting from this Final Four?
I'm putting a challenge out to all the people in the North Country. Now, I'm a St. Lawrence guy, so the Clarkson people probably don't care what I have to say. But to the Clarkson people, bring the heat. Come on. Get down there. Fill the building. So that'll be important. I think that's something to pay attention to. I think you know what? I got to tell you, Jimmy, Dartmouth's really good. Reed Cashman's a heck of a coach. The job that Ben Sire has done at Princeton is phenomenal. He's done a tremendous job there. I couldn't believe there was not a game 3 with their series with Union, but there wasn't. Union's a good hockey team. They knocked them right out.
We saw them in Belfast.
They knocked Union right out of the thing. I was really surprised by Clarkson going down to Hamden, Connecticut and beating Quinnipiac 2 straight games down there. That's something else. JF Wool, Jean-Francois Wool, the new coach at Clarkson, deserves a lot of credit with his staff. I was really impressed by that.
Yeah.
And obviously Cornell's Cornell. And they're a tough out. They're a tough team. So it's going to be interesting because Benny Sire 2 years ago was the assistant at Cornell, and now he's the head coach at Princeton. And Casey Jones, who's the head coach at Cornell, used to be the head coach at Clarkson, even though Casey was playing at Cornell when he was a player. So it's kind of cool. There's a little crossover all over. I kind of like it.
Yep. And, of course, the Hockey East, I always focus on that with my alma mater, UMass. Congratulations to Coach Carville and the Minutemen. What a turnaround by that team, Pierre. I think it's right now, I don't think that story, just in hockey in general, should be getting a lot more attention. It's amazing.
Well, it should. I was touching base with the coach the other day, and I know he texted with you as well. Michael Rabel's been fantastic. I think you'd have to admit that, Jimmy. They've got unbelievable goaltending going on there right now. They got 4 lines. The Music kid's playing really good hockey.
Yep.
I know he's not very big, but he's a really smart, talented kid. They got a lot of good stuff going on there. And I'll tell you what, if people think they're tough now, wait till the recruiting class coming in for next year.
Oh,
They got some stallions coming. They got some
guys
players
from up north too. Yep.
That's correct.
Yeah. And by the way, thank you for promoting Michael Rabel on Mitch Melnick. I heard you the other day when you guys are talking about other goalies. Was that he was drafted the same year as Fowler? Is that correct?
Yeah, he was the same year as Fowler. He's drafted by they were Arizona back then, not Utah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So he's an amazing story there. So the Hockey, they're going to get Merrimack. And speaking of amazing upsets, what an upset!
No, the game's at Boston. No, they're playing at the TD.
Right. No, but I'm saying no, they're playing Merrimack.
Oh yeah, they're playing. Yes. I thought you said they're playing at Merrimack.
No.
So, yeah.
Against. But what a great job by Coach Bork there in Merrimack, Pierre. I mean, that was a heck of an upset there.
Yeah, that's major because they didn't do that. So if you're playing in North, this is for our fans that aren't familiar, but Merrimack has a rink in North Andover that's probably the most home-friendly rink to play in because it's smaller and they have a big team and it's a hard place to play. It's hard to win in North Andover where Merrimack is. The fact they were able to leave and go down to Providence against a very well-coached team by Nate Lehman, that's a heck of a statement by Scotty Borick and his team. I'm so happy for Scotty. He and I used to be out on the trail a lot together back when we were young guys. Maybe we both had a little more hair. I like Scotty a lot. Scotty was a heck of a player. Scotty played at Dartmouth. He was a really good player. He got injured, and that's when he started getting into coaching. But he and I spent a lot of time on the road back in the day. A lot of time. So I'm really happy for him.
Belfast, remember? At the Heart.
Yeah.
Great stories, man. I love talking to him. So congratulations, man. That's good. That all kicks off on Friday. And we'll see what happens there. Pierre, before we get to our sponsors, just want to remind you, we will be at Hurley's Irish Pub, downtown Montreal, Crescent Street, 1225 Crescent, 4 to 6 p.m. pregame there before the Habs Bruins. So come on down. If you're in the area, come by. I got up here yesterday, Pierre. I can tell you there's already Bruins fans walking around up here. Well, you know what else, too, is a lot of college kids because it's spring break. So the kids from New England came up.
Shocking, Jimmy. I'm shocked by this news. And the Canadian dollar versus the U.S. doesn't help that either.
Yeah, exactly. So
McLean's going to the bar and go, how much? Oh, okay, here's $1.
Exactly. a lot of Bruins jerseys watching the Habs Ducks game last night at McLean's Public House. That was interesting.
Yeah.
So anyhow, great time there. By the way, Stu says hello to you. He missed you.
Nice,
Hoping to
man.
see you.
Nice,
So
man.
hopefully we will see him in the playoffs if the Canadiens get to the playoffs there. So, and then of course, like we said, we will be at Lake Placid Brewery on
Can't
Wednesday,
wait.
Thursday, and Friday for the ECAC championships. All right, let's talk to you in another place we were hoping to go, Pierre. Vago Italian, but we will get a rain check for that. We'll definitely hit that in April for sure. But you want to go there if you're in the Montreal area, if you're up here visiting from New England for the Bruins game tomorrow, go over there right now. Go to Vago because they combine old world classics and new Italian dishes for over 23 years. Private dining rooms for any occasion. They are open Monday to Saturday evenings and lunch Tuesday to Friday. They are located 1336 Green Avenue in Westmount. For reservations, call 514-846-1414. Again, that's 514-846-1414.
Hold on before you go to Betway.
Yes.
So I just want to give a little shout out to everybody at Vago. Scotty Bowman sent his neighbors from well, I won't tell you the town in Florida, but down in Florida where he lives. And they went, 6 people went to the game, and the games this weekend in Montreal. And you know where they had dinner? Vago. And he said it was awesome. They had such a good time. So just so everybody understands, like a lot, it's a great place. And I love going there because I enjoy the people, but the food is so good. I'm kind of bummed I'm not eating there tonight. I'm not gonna lie.
I know you were looking forward to your chicken palm. I know that, my friend.
I was really looking forward to it. I'll get there in the playoffs. Let's get Let's get there in the playoffs.
And by the way, too, Pierre, like you mentioned, Scotty Bowman sends people there. You send people there. Sometimes you go in there, you might run into a player or somebody in the hockey biz. You never know.
Subban guy. I know that Subban guy goes in there.
That's right. Remember, he did an Instagram post in there, I think, right?
I know that Subban guy pops in from time to time. And Hal Gill used to live right across the street.
Oh, geez. How did he stay in such good shape?
Hal was a better football player than a hockey player. People don't even know that. Hal Gill was an amazing football quarterback. He was elite football player. Elite.
Great stuff. All right, let's talk to you about Betway, where you can still go all the way with Betway and bet those beauties. So join the action right now if you haven't joined already. Go to that QR code in front of you if you're watching. If you're not, you can go to the website to the members section, fill out your details there, and you can get up to $300 back on your first deposit, even if you lose your first bet. Great deal there. Remember, you must be 18 plus. Always bet responsibly. Terms and conditions apply. And one of those terms is that it is not available in Ontario. All right, let's look at the games tonight. Some, like Pierre mentioned, some big games across the board right now. Yeah, the Devils may be out of it, but they can play spoilers against the Bruins. So that's an interesting game to look at. I don't have anything really, because that's one of those games I really don't have a grasp on.
How about my buddy DJ Smith? He's doing a pretty good job at those LA Kings skis.
Well,
how about if they go into the Rangers and beat them?
Do you read we don't script this. That's the game I was going to. Right to the Kings Rangers right now. Yeah. The Kings are at MSG. Right now you can get the rain. It's pretty much a pick 'em. The Rangers are at minus 105. The Kings are at minus 115. But as we said, the Rangers have played some good hockey lately. They've also been scoring a lot. And the Kings have upped their offense. And as Pierre said, since DJ Smith went in there, they're flowing with that offense right now. The over-under is only at a 5.5. I'm stunned. So jump on that over-under at 5.5 to go over. And then we'll go out to Colorado, where the Colorado Avalanche are hosting the Pittsburgh Penguins. Colorado, interesting team right now, Pierre. A little up and down. Not sure what's going on there, but Pittsburgh's a desperate team. I like Pittsburgh to go in there. I don't know if they'll win, but I'm going to say this game gets to overtime, Pierre. I sense an extra session. And if you go and bet that right now, bet the draw, it's at plus 350 value. That's great value there. So do the draw in the Penguins Avalanche. All right, what do we got for questions? Okay, I'm not sure I'm going to. Oh, there we go. Thank you. Simok Hockey Tree. Simok is our man. Pierre, what do Hawks fans expect from Sasha Boivot? He just signed down the stretch. He's amazing in post. You were amazing in the post game with Tony and Chris. Chris is so insightful as well. What do you expect?
Chris Pronger, he's talking about, who was on with Tony and I
Chris
last
Pronger.
night.
Yep.
We had Chris on last night. Sasha Boivot, he had a very uninspiring season this year at BU. Hopefully his signing of a pro contract will get him motivated to play. I don't know what happened there. but something happened there at BU, and
It's
I
a
don't know
healthy
what it
scratch in
was.
the final game in the playoffs.
I'm aware.
Yeah.
I'm aware something happened there, and I don't know what it was, but maybe he just needed a change of scenery. And I don't know him as a person at all, but I do know his athleticism, and the talent is clearly there, but it didn't show this year at BU. It just did not. So,
all right. What's our next question? Bill Van Vago, will Michael Hage jump up after the finals, after the NCAA?
I'd be surprised. I think he'll end up in Laval. Maybe he gets a game if they don't go to the Final Four. But if you look at the NHL schedule in the Final Four, I think that the NHL schedule ends right when the Final Four is going on. So that's a bit of a problem because you get a 2-week break. So that's why I don't think he'll be playing in Montreal if they're in the playoffs. I think he'll probably go to Laval. A little bit like Shakeup Feller.
And Pierre also, I mean, right now the Canadiens, I don't want to say they don't need them, but they're
Doc's injury. We'll see how.
Well, that's right. Doc's out for that. Yep.
That's pretty significant. And they kind of showed their hand. They made Brendan a healthy scratch the other night. Then they take Zach Bolduc out last night to put Brendan back in. So they're tinkering. There's no question. They're trying to find the bit. This is what bothers me, and I get it. This is not. You know how supportive I've been of this management team. I think the world, but I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't say it. I've been disappointed since the trade deadline. They didn't address the huge elephant in the room, and that was depth on defense. It just didn't do it, and it's a problem. It's a problem.
Thank you for bringing that up, Pierre, because I forgot, and I apologize. Pierre and I were talking earlier today. And you remember what I said, Pierre? I was comparing it to Detroit last year. If you remember when Detroit thought they had taken the steps to have their management go out and make a deal and help them for the playoff run, they didn't. And Dylan Larkin even came out and spoke out against it, saying we expected something there. I wonder if there's a little vibe like that going on with the Canadiens right now.
I hope not. They're better. I think the kids are better now. Like I like Caulfield and Suzuki. They're good people. I don't think Matheson would allow that to fester in the room. I really don't. I don't think Lane Hudson would allow that to fester either. I can't see that. Not with this team. It's a very good way to look at it, though. But I know one thing. After he said that, Dylan Larkin, I remember saying to you, he's going to get caught into the principal's office, and he did.
He did. And he did come out and apologize, I think, too, if I'm not
mistaken. He got called into the principal's office, and I don't think he'll be doing that anytime soon.
Yep. All right. Next question. What do we got? Pete and Pierre, I can't see from where I am, guys. I apologize. Who would be a better fit playing the right side?
Playing the right side. Struble would be better than Jack Guy on the offside, but right now they just don't seem to have a lot of confidence in either guy. They both play 11 minutes or less in a game.
Pierre, a lot of when I was, at McLean's Public House yesterday, some of my friends and fans, a lot of people really sour on Carrier right now. Do you think he can start to find his?
He's had a tough year. He got on a little bit of an offensive run earlier in the middle part of the year, but he's had a tough year defensively. I get it. I don't know what happened. Maybe he's tired. Maybe he's playing hurt. We don't know. Obviously, last year he was fantastic. He was really good.
One of the best trades of the year.
He's had a tough year. He got, like I said, he got on that little offensive run where he's starting to get some goals, and everybody started to say, okay, he's back now. That's why I don't like where the messaging is with this group right now. Stop worrying about points and start worrying about keeping pucks out of your own net.
All right, next question. Tony from Montreal, is it Robitaille's job on the line if the Habs can't find any sort of defensive structure by the season's end? And if this continues into next season, will Kent and Gorton be forced to start looking at a new head coach? Whoa.
No, I don't think so at all for either guy. It's a system that has to be tweaked. They'll figure it out. Marty's good. I don't have any issue with the head coach. He's good. And he's learning all the time. I think that staff is actually solid. I don't think any of those guys, their jobs are on the line. I really don't. I commend them. I think they've done some good work. That's what I'm saying. The only thing I'm upset about this whole year, I'm being totally honest, is there was clearly a need, clearly an organizational need to be addressed, and it just wasn't. Now, maybe I'm going to be fair here. Maybe the price points were too high. Maybe the Canes just said, too rich for us. We're not doing that this year. We're kind of excited where we're going. We're not going to rock the boat. And maybe that's what happened.
Well, and the other thing too, though, like you said too, the East is so wide open, and
Well, that's why I thought they'd do something.
yeah.
It's just,
I mean, the
it's the
path is
most
there.
fluid. Just, Jimmy, I'm going to go back to what we said at the beginning of the year. First time I've ever seen it. It's going to take an owner, a creative general manager, and the pro scouts. I'm not talking about the players. I'm not talking about the coaches. If you want to win the cup this year, you better have a really smart owner. You better have a really focused general manager. And you better have pro scouts that he trusts, who embraces his vision. And we'll see how it plays out.
Mm-hmm. All right, next question. What do we got?
I think Buffalo made the best moves at the trade deadline.
I know, and I couldn't believe people actually criticizing that. I thought they did great.
Well, one was a national publication. I was reading and I'm like, what? Okay, whatever you say.
Yeah. All right, let's bring that question up by Ethan there again. What's up, Ethan? I got to be psyched about UMass. I know you are. Do you think Metsa still deserves a spot in the lineup, even though they are new additions? I just don't see how he's lost his spot. Do you think his size could be an issue come playoff time?
They're worried about his size, but Metz is a really smart hockey player, but his size is a bit of an issue. He's an older guy, Zach Metsa. He's not young. He's an older, mature, physically gifted kid.
Mm-hmm.
He was a really good player for Rand Pecknold at Quinnipiac. I don't think he lost his job. I just think they're experimenting with the new guys they got, and Logan Stanley and obviously Shen. We'll see how long it lasts, but I think he'll eventually get in the lineup and play some more.
All right. And I think there was a second part to that question for Ethan. I thought I saw 1, 2. Let's see what we got. Maybe not. Okay. What do we got, guys? Franco, can you guys tell us about the newest Hab?
Nope. I can't.
Here.
I don't.
Nope. Dylan Bentley. What's an AHL deal? Yeah. Okay. Next question. Hey, Sound of Siren. How you doing, buddy? Question. Is it worth discussing that Mason McTavish, he was a healthy scratch. That's right. It's worth a discussion on Mason McTavish, or is it just way too premature?
Way too early. Way too early.
Yeah.
You know, you get young players and you just snap them to attention. What's the one thing you can do? Take away their ice time. Now, I'm surprised they let him play in Ottawa, which is his hometown. And then the next night, he gets it.
It was interesting. I'll give him credit. I was listening to Elliot Freeman, Pierre, and he said he kind of looks at it like the Jeremy Swayman situation last year. And he thought maybe the holdout and all that is playing a role in his struggles this year.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. How many times do we see that with players, huh?
All the time.
It's like clockwork almost.
Just get your business done and get into camp.
Yep.
That's it.
It's amazing. It still happens. All right. Next question.
People say training camp's overrated. Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, exactly. And look at how much better Swayman is this year. They didn't have to go through that. So, all right. Next question. Merrick. Hey, my friend. How are you? Yeah. Lane Hudson looked and acted on the ice like the last two games, very nervous and even angry. Strange expressions from him. Is there pressure on the Habs that they won't make it to the playoffs? Oh, yeah, there's pressure.
There's plenty of pressure, and it's a great point. And I said to Jimmy, it's the first time I ever saw him get mad at officials. He was yelling at the referees the other night, and I was like, whoa.
Yep.
And that was in the San Jose game, and I said to Jimmy, that's not like him. He's usually the Iceman, calm, cool, and collected. And last night, that winning goal, and he knows it. Watch his reaction. If you haven't seen it, go watch the goal Cutter Gauthier scores and go watch the reaction of Lane Hudson. He knows that's his guy. He knows he made a mistake, and he's mad at himself. He knows it. That's what I admire about him.
Yeah.
You know, he's not going to point the finger. He knows it was him. He knows.
I don't know if Marique has our phones tapped or something, because Pierre literally said that to me the other day. He says, this is weird. He's shown a lot of frustration. So hopefully he can take care of that before the playoffs start, if they get to the playoffs. All right, next question. Jerbs, do you think Deneau will be with the Habs next season?
Highly unlikely.
Really?
Yep.
Interesting.
They got too many young guys coming.
Okay. All right, next question. Big guy, F5Y. Why can't the Habs protect a lead? Is it the wrong D and forward combinations? I know, Pierre, you mentioned being disappointed about them not making a trade at the deadline.
That's part of it. Another part of it is right now this team is just too aggressive offensively, and they're not nearly aggressive enough defensively. Guys are out of position. Go watch the play last night that leads to the Troy Terry goal. You tell me what and it's not their fault, but you tell me what Dobson and Matheson are doing, backing all the way down to almost the top of the crease. There's no resistance on Kreider. Kreider makes a backhand cross-ice feed through the slot. There's no stick position. There's no bodies or there's nothing. Like, that's fundamental defense. Go look at their sticks. Look where their sticks are. They're all in the air. It's crazy. So there's some work that has to be done. It's just remedial stuff. Every team goes through this. Every team.
All right. Next question. Randy Workman, Jimmy and Pierre. Go ahead, Pierre, because it's coming up a little.
Do you think the offside challenges need to improve? And the answer is yes. And my thing is, once the puck touches the top of the blue line, everything is in play. You're not offside. But look at how minuscule but once it touches the top of the blue, it's good. You go. I think it'd make it so much better. I really do.
Well, maybe they're discussing that as we speak down at the GM meetings. All right, next question. Renaissance Resistor, how concerned are you at the lack of substantive response
Department of Player Safety.
Department of Player Safety towards season ending and potentially career-altering hits could lead to serious injury or Bertuzzi incidents?
I'm concerned. I liked what Connor McDavid said.
Yeah.
I thought it was really appropriate. But I don't think they really control what happens on the ice. Honestly, I think they just react to what happens on the ice. I think,
I think the players control it.
The players do control it. Players control it. Yeah. And the other thing too is I want that Brian Burke bear hug rule put in. I'm telling you, it would get rid of a lot of this stuff along the boards. It really would. If players knew they could go in and just envelop the guy they're going to check, but you have to, you can't stay there for 5 minutes and hold them. You can go 1,001, 1,002, 1,003. If you haven't released the guy by then, you're getting a penalty for holding. But you can take him and ride him into the boards. It would get rid of a lot of this stupid stuff that leads to all these fights and skirmishes that,
I know, 100%. I'm surprised. He's been saying that forever too, Pierre. And I'm surprised it never caught on because it makes so much sense.
Berkey's the one that created it, but I told Berkey when we had a couple meetings at Hall of Fame meetings, and I just said, that's such a good idea. Really good idea.
Yep. All right, next question. Chris Gaming TV, Pierre, you mentioned he finished up here. Sorry, I'm blocked from here. Oh, I got it now. Mentioned a few times that you do Penguins pregame show on radio. How can we hear you? I live in Montreal.
You can hear it online. Just go to the PittsburghPenguins.com. I'm pretty sure it's with Paul Steigerwald. And we're all over Ohio, Eastern Ohio. We're in Pennsylvania. We're in West Virginia. It's the Pittsburgh Penguin Radio Network. And tonight I'm on for a long time before they play in Colorado. I love working with Paul. It's been great. I'm really grateful to the Penguins for bringing me back into the family. I love doing stuff for the Penguins.
Yes, you can. Pierre's right. It's called the Pittsburgh Penguins Radio Network, and there is a link on the Penguins website, so you can go right there.
Yeah, and it's, I'll tell you what, Paul Steigerwald runs that show. He does a fantastic job. He is so good. Paul. So I spent a lot of time with Paulie on the road back when he was a little younger.
He's a good man.
He and Mike Lang were great partners. They were phenomenal partners, and we all had a little bit of fun when we won, and we won a lot. So we had a lot of fun.
All right, next question. Harold Schneider, does the Doc injury open up? There we go. Open up opportunity for a Reinbacher call up, at least for a taste.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Not at this point.
I don't think at this point. I think they're going to let him continue to mature down there. I think if they have a major injury situation on the back end, then maybe, but not with Doc. Doc's up front. I think they got to get Bolduc going. I know they have to get Bolduc going. And if you were to ask me who Joe Veleno got to get in the lineup at some point here, because he'd be good insurance in the playoffs. So a lot of these guys haven't played in a while. Like Veleno hasn't played in a while. They got to get him in the lineup. So I don't think you're going to see that. No.
All right. Next question. Hey, Jimmy and Pierre, strange question. Do you think the front office and coaching staff are aligned on who's going in net for Montreal going forward? Interested to know the difference in thinking.
Oh, I think they are. No,
I do too.
I think Jimmy knows as well or better than anybody because he works so hard at it. I think they're really aligned, Jimmy. You would know better than I because I know
Oh,
you
they
talk
are.
to a lot of people, but I think they all sing from the same songbook. I
Yep.
believe that.
And I think in terms of across the league, that the Canadians are one of the most aligned when it comes to that. All right, next
think
question.
so, yeah.
Energized. Celebrini was frustrated Sunday night. How much of that was him seeing Shane Pinto jump over the boards every time he did?
But that's all part. This is what I'm saying. Like we got to figure this out. Travis Green has figured it out.
Wow.
He's figured it out. And you know what? I'm going to rat Travis out. I remember when he played with Brian Mullen and Brad Delgarno as a checker for the Islanders for the late great Al Arbor. And that line was a hell of a checking line. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
Now, they had a hard time checking our guy because they tried and we just took care of them physically. But yeah, no, he was a really good checker. Travis Green was a really, really good checker.
Yeah, I got to cover him a little. He had a short stint with the Bruins towards the end of his career, Pierre, and I loved his defensive game, and it shows in his coaching.
Oh, that's how he coaches. He coaches the way he played, and he learned a lot from Al Arbor, and he learned a lot from Pat Quinn. People forget Travis was with the Toronto Maple Leafs when they were good, and he played when Pat was there.
Yeah,
yeah,
that makes a lot of sense. Then okay, next question. Kevin Krause, Jimmy and Pierre, through the
thoughts on the latest TV ratings that were released for the Olympics.
Yeah.
Some very positive, and some not so positive. So matchups matter. The biggest thing now is you're getting into close to the start of baseball, close. You're getting into major golf events like you had one this weekend. The PGA, and that had drama right to the end. Cameron Young, congratulations on winning. And now you got March Madness. So this is, and I've been through this for over 20 years. Trust me, this is when you find out if your product really is growing or if it's shrinking, because you got competition now. There's a dead part of the season where, and it's after the Olympics or after the All-Star game where you can go because football's over and everybody's kind of catching their breath. Well, now
March Madness thing is huge.
Yeah, it's a double whammy because you got that. People are talking about baseball. You got spring break going on for a lot of people. It's a hard time of the year.
I wanted to hear how the ratings were for that winter baseball classic too. I'll tell you, last night people were glued to that game here. So I wonder if that caused a little reflection.
I didn't even know what was going on. I watch hockey, man.
There were some good games. I
was watching college. I was watching American League. I was watching NHL. I was watching a lot of hockey.
All right. Next question. Chris Nosek. Hey, Chris. Pierre, teams need right-hand D. One who's going under the radar a lot has been Ty Gallagher in the Bruins system. He played NCAA, BU, then Colorado College. What do you think of him?
Yeah, I like him, actually. I've watched Ty play for a long time. It's a great call. That's a good call.
He just fought somebody the other night, too.
What's that?
I think he got in a good fight with somebody the other night.
He's tough. He was a good player. He was a really good player, and he still is a good player. Yeah. I've watched him.
All right, next question. Max rates. Maybe the Habs didn't trade because they want to give Reinbacher a chance.
Yeah, eventually they will. I agree with that. 100%.
Yeah.
But they're not giving him a chance now. I'm talking about now.
Right in the present.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. Gabriel Lamb, with the NBA looking to expand, will the NHL consider expansion at some point? They already are.
Sooner rather than later, and it's going to be in Atlanta and Houston. Those will be the first two teams. Together,
too, as we've been saying.
Yeah, they'll come in together. If you don't believe me, go watch my podcast with Bill Daly. A lot of breaking news.
In the game, by the way.
It's called Inside the Game.
Inside the Game. And Pierre, by the way, who was your guest today?
We didn't have one today. We will have one this week. Today was a tough travel day for Pierre.
Traveling, okay.
So I had to do a little adjusting, but the Mike Richter podcast broke today.
That's
came
what I'm
out
talking
today.
about. Yeah, the new one dropped today.
Mike Richter's is out today. We didn't tape our one for next week yet, but we
highly
will this
suggest
week.
the Mike Richter one from what
Mike
Pierre told.
Richter's phenomenal. And if you haven't heard Mike talk, he's energized, he's highly cerebral, and his stories about Messier and Leach and the Rangers and relationships with Mike Keenan, they're pretty amazing. And it's with Mike, it's all about leadership. It's amazing the leadership stories he has. Really good. Really good.
Great. All right, next question. Mitch Boyd. Guys, how is it possible?
Shea Theodore.
2 hits in 55 games. I did not know that. Lane has 25 or so. Is Shane really avoiding contact? Shea, I mean.
I don't know. I
That's
don't think
interesting.
so.
I was not aware of that. Wow.
Yeah.
Who knows? All right, next question. David Robinson. What's up, Dave? Was a fact the Ducks playing well down the stretch limit the suspension for their captain, Gudas?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think they could.
I hope
can
not.
understand why you'd think that, but yeah.
I hope not. I mean, I know Pittsburgh was playing really well too, and then they lost Crosby at the Olympics, and then they lost Malkin for 5 games. They went out on a road trip, and they've played 3 games so far. They got 3 out of a potential 6 points. That was a huge come-from-behind win against Utah the other night in Utah, but they were down 2-0 in that game. They found a way to come back, but yeah, no, I don't think the league was doing it because Anaheim was playing well.
All right, next question. I've never seen the entire Montreal defensive corps struggle this much. Is the hybrid system too complicated? What seems like deliberately giving the blue line, or is it just poor defensive effort?
I just think they're just decombobulated. I mean, there's like a malfunction at the junction every time they're in their own zone. It's a great pickup by Hendricks. I'm just telling you. Yeah. It's an awesome pickup by him. That's why, again, I'm going to say they needed somebody that could stabilize their own zone.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't a fancy guy, and it wasn't a cutie pie, and it wasn't a stick handler or shooter. It was just a big, robust guy.
Yep.
Like I'll show you. When St. Louis won the cup, they had Robert Bortuzzo. Robert Bortuzzo killed every penalty. Robert Bortuzzo blocked every shot. Robert Bortuzzo at the end of every period was usually on the ice to like tackle somebody. We don't have Montreal. I shouldn't say we. Montreal doesn't have Robert Bortuzzo. They don't have anybody like that.
Yeah, it's true. Those are the type of pickups. You're right, Pierre. It's great.
We had Gordy Roberts, and like I love Gordy. I really do. Like I have so much respect for Gordy. Gordy wasn't the slickest player. Gordy wasn't the fastest player. Gordy wasn't the biggest player. Gordy wasn't the strongest. Gordy was just good.
Mm-hmm.
Gordy was just good, man. He knew how to play.
Yeah.
And he fit in really well with Larry Murphy. It was really a great tandem. It was really good. Yeah. Montreal didn't have all the guy does is just play.
Pierre, I mean, you'd agree with me, right? I mean, most Stanley Cup champions always have that type of guy on their blue line, whether they get him at the deadline or they already had him.
Look at Mikkola in Florida. So they got Mikkola, they got Aaron Ekblad, they got Gustav Forsling, and they got Kulikov. Like all those guys. That's why they win.
Mm-hmm.
You know, go look at when Colorado won before them. Colorado, they had that Manson. You know, they had the Taves. Go look at the guys they had. Guys that do that stuff.
Yeah, the Capitals and 20. They had guys like that. I mean, it's just a test of time. You need those guys to win in the playoffs. You really do.
You do.
All right. That's it for our questions. We appreciate it as always. Thanks to everyone for watching and listening. And again, tomorrow I will be live from Hurley's Irish Pub, 1225 Crescent Street in downtown Montreal before the Bruins Canadiens game from 4 to 6 p.m. Come on by if you're going to be in the area. Say hello. The Guinness will be flowing. A lot of things will be flowing because it is St. Patrick's Day.
I wanted to say I'm very sorry, Jimmy. You know I would have been there if I could have been there.
You don't have to apologize, Pierre. It's not your fault, but you will be missed. I will be thinking.
I will be seeing you on Wednesday at the Lake Placid. Lake Placid.
Looking forward to that. I was just texting with our good friend Chris from the Lake Placid Brewery. He's very excited to host us again, so we're looking forward to that. And again, we'll be there Wednesday and Thursday, 4 to 6 p.m., Friday, noon to 1. All right, another great edition of the Eye Test here in the Sick Podcast Network. I'll talk to you tomorrow live from Hurley's.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Eye Test with Pierre McGuire and Jimmy Murphy on YouTube, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.